Hello everybody and welcome back to the Retro Union Collectors channel today, and today we're taking a look at a very cool set here that was very hard to acquire, and as a thank you for hitting 200 subscribers, we're going to take a look at Victory Saber. But to begin with, let's get these guys out of the way so we can take a look at this box. Alright, so this box is absolutely massive. But on the front here, we got, as you can see, this is like a nice like red aluminum foil type thing they got going on in the background there. Here we have Victory Saber right here with the nice Transformers Victory logo. There is Star Saber right there with Victory Leo right here. And in the background, you get a really cool like diagram of Victory Saber himself. And turn it sideways so you can see the top. There's the Transformers Legacy logo. That's Hasbro and Takara logos there. On this side, it shows you just kind of what's in the set. We have Saber, Victory Leo, the Brain of Courage, Holi and Fire. And on this side, we just have a massive Transformers logo in that nice metallic red. Up here we have the Transformers Victory logo with Victory Saber again. On the back, we have a nice photo of Victory Saber all combined in his Victory Saber mode, obviously. You see the stand he comes with. There he is all combined with all of his accessories. And up at the top, really hard to see, but there is a picture of him in his V-Star jet mode. Right there, sideways. But on the inside of this box, let's go ahead and flip it like this. There we go. We can slide the sleeve off. And on the inside here, we have a poster of Victory Saber and Victory Leo with little Holi and Fire down here, Transformers Legacy logo. And very cool on the top. Ooh, that fell. On the top here, we have a nice big picture of Deathsaurus, who actually happened to be the next HasLab figure. Here's where a lot of your accessories sat in the box. Here's where the stand was, his two cannons on his shoulder, various blast effect pieces, parts of the stand. This was the shield. And when you take this out, on the back of this, it actually says Victory Saber right there. Set that aside. This is where Victory Saber and Victory Leo were in the box. It's actually upside down right now. But then you get this really, really nice full color instruction pamphlet that is actually absolutely massive. I'm not going to unfold this whole thing, but as you can see, it's nice and colored. Very cool, very easy to follow. Then you also get these stickers here, which there was a part on the prototype that was painted red that ended up being cast in an unpaintable plastic. So they included some stickers for you to stick on there. Personally, I have not stuck the stickers on, but you can if you choose. Go ahead and put all this back into here. Put it this way. Get this out of here. And another cool thing that you can do here with this sleeve is you can actually come to the back here and you can open it up here. And this is actually reversible and it's huge. But you can flip it to this side, which has some more of the like Takara art on it. If you want to give your box more of a Japanese look, there is some of the art from Transformers Victory. C328 is, if I remember correctly, that was his Takara release number. There's a picture of the figure there. There you have Transformers Victory. And flip this over. And here you have a picture of him in all the various things that come with the set. All the different alt modes and stuff. Very, very cool. I prefer the red metal look to it, so I keep it on the other side. Now that the box is out of here, we can bring this back in. And so since this is a HasLab and this is a very different item, I've never reviewed a HasLab before, we're going to do this review a little bit different than normal. So this is Victory Saber here, but since this was a HasLab, it was a backing project. So if we hit, I believe it was 11,000 backers, you got the figure. If we hit, I believe it was 14,000 backers, we actually got these two blast effects, which are the same blast effects that came with Rodimus Prime and Jetfire, but cast in a really nice green color this time, like a seafoam green, as well as this right here, which is the V-Lock cannon, absolutely massive. If we hit 17,000 backers, we ended up getting this display stand here, which has a really cool Transformers Victory logo there. It can be oriented like this to hold them in robot mode, or you can orient it this way and use this piece to hold it in jet mode, which I'll show you later. Very cool. And then if we hit 20,000 backers, which we did, we get this shield as well as two little MicroMasters. We got Holi and Fire. And I'll show you more about these guys later on, but that was the 3 tiers that we got. It ended up exceeding all 3 tiers, so we got everything. Very cool. Definitely a cool set that we got here. Alright, so to kind of do this review, we're going to hit the robot modes first, and then we're going to go through the alt modes. And since I already have it all combined into Victory Saber mode, and since this is what everybody clicked to see, we're going to start in this mode. So we can remove some of these accessories here. Let's get his shield out of the way. The shield has little clamps right here, so it can clamp on either wrist. There's little tabs there for it. Or you can spin this way and hold it in his hand. Very cool. He also comes with this sword, which is made from part of Saber's jet mode as well as the blade, which can store in these little slots on his leg on either side very nicely. There's also a 5mm port on the little skirt piece that can hold on right here, so it can look like it's like sheathed. Very cool. And then we get the V-Star cannon, or V-Lock cannon, my bad, which can fold up like this. You can also fold this down to be clipped onto Victory Leo's hip, and I'll show you that later. Very cool. Let's get that out of here. So this is Victory Saber. Awesome, awesome figure. And he's massive. Kind of hard to even fit on camera here. But as you can see, he's got a lot of different colors to him. He is primarily white and red with a lot of blue and yellow and even some gold in there with some black down here on his shoes. Just very, very cool looking figure. Let's do it. Oh, clip that down there. Just do a little spin around here. Awesome, awesome looking figure. And for those of you who don't know, so Victory Saber is the leader of the Autobots in Transformers Victory, and in the first section of Transformers Zone before Atlas takes over. But very, very cool character. That he's a Japanese exclusive character from the G1 Japanese continuation shows. Just awesome looking figure. And he was also designed by one of the people who designed Gundam. So if you kind of get the idea that he looks a little bit like a Gundam, he definitely does, because he was designed by the guy who made Gundam. And those stickers I talked about earlier, they go on this piece right here. I haven't clipped them. I haven't stuck them to mine just because I don't really like doing stickers, and I think it looks just fine. But I will point out right here that the gold on the front of mine has actually chipped right there. If you can kind of see, using my finger to kind of exemplify it a little bit. The gold has chipped from transforming this thing. The way that So this chest unit here is Saber that goes on to like the V-Star jet, how that all works. But if you combine it and you clip it down, there is a chance at chipping it here. So I'm very careful with that. I don't really like doing that, but first time I ever transformed it, it chipped. So I kind of paranoid about transforming this thing. But just an awesome, awesome looking figure. So we hit accessories, talked about his looks. Let's get a quick size comparison with Victory Saber here. He is kind of considered a commander class figure, so let's grab the biggest commander class I own, that being Siege Jetfire. And as you can see, Jetfire is a little bit bigger, but this guy has so much more to him. This is just a robot and a jet. This is 1, 2, 3 robots that each have their own alt modes, and well, technically 4 if you count the Brain of Courage. And like, there's just so much more going on with this than there is with that. I wouldn't necessarily call it a Titan class. That's what the price range was for the HasLab. It was more of a Titan price, but it's definitely more than just a commander. It's roughly commander size, but definitely more going on with it than any of the other commanders that I own. Just an awesome, awesome figure. And speaking of how it's multiple different figures, now that we've went over Victory Saber, let's disassemble him a little bit, and we can take a look at Star Saber and Victory Leo. Alright, so now you just kind of take Victory Saber's shoes and backpack off, and it forms an entirely second dude. This is Victory Leo, and as you can see, very, very cool looking. He's got a lot of black and yellow on him with some of that red and white and some of that nice gold on here, which is just absolutely a fingerprint magnet. And is that a scratch? No, that was a hair. But the gold on Victory Leo hasn't really had very many problems for me. It's just the gold on this that has chipped. But all in all, just be careful with it. That's about all I can say. And so he loses a couple inches of height, and he loses his big backpack wings and his cannons coming forward. So we can do another quick size comparison. I can throw Jetfire back in here just so I can kind of see the size change. There he is. Zoom out a tiny bit. So as you can see, he drops a couple inches, but nothing too substantial. Go back to normal zoom. Get him out of here. And I would kind of call Victory Leo kind of a leader class size. So let's grab one of our Voyager Plus leaders here. This is another Victory character. This is Galaxy Shuttle from Velocitron Speedia 500. And so he's definitely a Voyager with some extra parts. He's definitely like a modern leader class. Maybe on the slightly small end of that. But very, very cool. Get him back out of here. And I totally forgot to show articulation in the combined mode, but the articulation is virtually identical, except you can't do a 360 with the arms simply because of the wings. Other than that, articulation in Victory Saber mode and Star Saber mode are almost identical. But his head can rotate side to side just a little bit due to there being a Brain Master in there, so you don't want to force it, or you will break the little Brain Master on the inside there. His head can look up quite a bit. You can kind of push his face plate down. You can totally see the head of Saber in there, though. And it can look down, not a whole lot. Then his arms can do a full 360. When in combined mode, you cannot do a full 360 just because of the backpack wings. His arms can only come out this far, which is a little bit disappointing, but I mean, you know, what can you do? His arms are also double jointed, so you can pull a straight 90 degree at this joint, as well as a straight 90 degree at this joint. And they are double jointed so that you can get him to dual wield or like hold the sword with both hands. It's kind of tough to do, and I don't really want to scratch the gold here. It is possible. I'm just not going to do it on camera. But then he does also have, let's show you with this in. He does have full wrist articulation, and he shares a feature with Jetfire where when you open the hand, it kind of collapses the little 5mm port in, and when you close the hand, the 5mm port comes back. So that's definitely a neat little thing they added there. He does have waist articulation, but it is not full 360. It is stopped by the panels on his back here. Actually, let's see. Okay, so if you adjust the panels on the back, you can actually pull through full 360. Was not aware of that. So it is doable. You just kind of have to cheat a little bit. These little skirt pieces can move to allow more leg articulation. So the legs on some very hefty ratchets can kick forward that far. Can kick back only that far. And can kick out to the side all the way straight. Very nicely. He does have thigh articulation, as well as you can kind of, I mean, if you can find a way to utilize this joint, it is there, but it's not really for articulation, it's more for transformation. He's got a knee joint, a little less than 90. And then he does have ankle rocker joints, which are incredibly stiff, but they need to hold and support a lot of weight when this thing is combined. So it's usable. It is there. And also, his little antennas up here can articulate as well as go forward and backwards. And these pylons up here can also articulate if you want to use that. So that's it for Victory Saber. For Star Saber. For Victory Leo, his articulation, he can also pull a 360 on shoulder, but you definitely have to work around the wings. He also has, he's got like a way beyond 90 degree elbow joint. Bicep articulation, as well as hand articulation. His head is on a swivel joint. It might be a ball joint. You can kind of get a little bit of side-to-side motion on it, but I'm not sure if it's really supposed to or not. No up or down. Unless you want to kind of cheat a little bit and just unplug this, then you can get like all the up. Absolutely no waist articulation due to how this thing just splits in half for the combined mode. But his legs kick forward, also on some pretty good ratchet joints there. A little past 90 degrees. As well as back, a little below 90 degrees. And can kick out to the side that far. And again, you can split it here for more articulation if you want to utilize that joint. But again, that's for transformation. He does have a knee joint, a little past 90 degrees. And I wouldn't really call this... Ooh, that popped out. I wouldn't really call this ankle rocker joints, but I mean, it's kind of what it's for. He just has straight up toe articulation. Like literally nothing but toe. But it is there. And you can also put his cannons on his back where they go for Victory Saber mode. They can point up. Kind of just another look that he can do. But definitely these two figures here are freaking awesome, and the fact that they can combine is even cooler. But we can actually break him down even further. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so you can actually take the chest out of Victory or Star Saber here, and you get Saber, who is a fairly small little deluxe size figure. And as you can see, he's got just more of that bizarre color scheme that is just very eye-catching. He's predominantly blue and white in here with a lot of red on there and some yellow and some spots. Got some nice gunmetal gray, almost black. It's more of a gray, but very cool little dude here. And as you can see, there is actually Victory, or I keep saying Victory Saber. Well, I mean it is. There's Victory Saber's gold wings on his chest there. But definitely a cool guy here. And he does have an alt mode as well, and I'll get to alt modes here in a minute. I'm just kind of hitting all the robot modes first. But definitely on the smaller side. So I can go ahead and do a quick size comparison. So I figured this would be a pretty good size comparison. So here is the HasLab Saber, and here's the Netflix Bumblebee. So as you can see, he's definitely on the smaller side for a deluxe. Let's move him over. Let's grab a larger deluxe. Here he is with Retro Headmaster's Skull Cruncher, which I believe is a deluxe. I'm quite certain. All the Headmasters in that line were kind of just like the same size. And I don't have any of the Titans Return figures, so I can't 100% say this is a deluxe, but I'm quite certain it is. So definitely in like the mid-range, kind of small side of deluxe figures. We can go ahead and get these guys out of here now, though. And we can go even smaller than this. So let's do that. Alright, so when I said we can go smaller, I meant we can go like microscopic. This is the Brain of Courage. And as you can see, he actually has quite some nice paint apps on him. He's got a little helmet there that looks a lot like Saber. And then he's got the little gold stripes on him to match kind of like Victory Saber's chest. He's got some blue on his head, blue on his legs, red down on his shoes, and then white legs and white arms. But that's really about it for him. On his back, he's just got Saber's face. And then that's really about it for this old guy. There's not a whole lot to do with him. But we can do a couple quick size comparisons. So to kind of just give you just this sheer idea of how small this is Skull Cruncher's Headmaster. And as you can see, this dude is probably about half the size of the Headmaster. And then, for a more accurate size comparison, here we have Black Zarak. Well, I mean, like, his, shins, I suppose. This dude isn't even as big as his toe. Like, this is tiny. This is absolutely tiny. Like, I'm terrified of losing this. But definitely impressed with how much paint detail they got on that little tiny guy. Let's get Black Zarak out of here. And we do have two other robots that we can take a look at. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. Alright, so for our final robot looks here, we have the two little Micromasters that came with the set. This is Holi and Fire. And these are the first Micromasters I've ever owned. I didn't pick any of them up with Earthrise or Siege. They just didn't really interest me a whole lot. But these guys came included with Victory Saber. And I believe they were actually in the animation for Transformers Victory. So pretty cool to have on my shelf now. But these guys, they're fairly limited in what they do. They transform very simply, but that's because they're just tiny. And they do have some articulation, though. On Holi, the arms can go full 360 as well as bend out that far. No wrist movement, no elbow movement, none of that. But the little head can move. There is a knee joint that can bend all the way back, as well as... Oh, and it keeps popping off. Let's see, pop that back on. And there we go. So the legs popped off again. Legs can kind of articulate forward. Can kind of go backwards a little bit. And they can kick out some. There's a full knee articulation in there. No waist, none of that. Nothing fancy, just basic articulation. And then on Fire here, his arms can do a full 360, as well as a knee joint that can go almost all the way. His legs can move forward this far, can move back about that far, and can move out about that far. So again, fairly limited. And I do believe his head can spin, because there's that little peg right there. I do believe his head can move side to side, but I can't get my fingers in there to actually move it. So quote me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments if his head can actually spin. I'm not 100% positive on that. But fairly limited articulation on these guys, but that's, can't really ask for much more than that. But pretty cool. Get these guys set aside. Alright, so now only about 27 minutes into the video, we can finally transform all of these guys and take a look at their alt modes. He is a triple changer, so he does have 2 alt modes. He's got an animal, like a lion and a jet, so we'll talk about both of those. This is just like the body for Victory Saber, or Star Saber, and a jet. There is no independent robot mode on him. He has a robot mode and a jet mode. He just has a tiny robot mode and a face mode, and these two have vehicle modes. So let's go through all of that, and we can take a look at their various alt modes. Alright, so going in more or less reverse order of how we did robot modes here. Here is Holi and Fire in their police car and fire truck modes, respectively. And these are really small, but they're pretty basic. They're pretty simple to transform. This is just a little cop car, just a little fire truck. The little fire truck can actually articulate its ladder hose sprayer thingy here. Can spin full 360. Pretty cool. Not really anything that moves on this, but they do have wheels and can roll somewhat stiffly, but they can do it. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next ones. So it's not really much, but the Brain of Courage, that's kind of just, I guess, face mode. I mean, the rest of this just kind of gets trapped inside of Saber, so just that, I suppose. But that's about it for him. And here is Saber in his jet mode. It's pretty cool. As you can see, most of that blue from robot mode kind of disappears. It's kind of just the cockpit here that's blue. But you get a lot of that red and that white with that nice gold up on top there. Very cool looking little jet mode. For a quick size comparison, there he is with Deluxe Class Netflix Bumblebee again. So he actually seems a little bit bigger in jet mode than he did in robot mode. There they are lined up. Pretty cool. And a cool feature about this is actually you can open this up and the little Brain of Courage actually flies the jet. That's where he stores an alt mode. Very, very cool. We can go ahead and move on. Alright, and here is Victory Leo in his lion mode. And this is actually really cool looking. You definitely don't really get this vibe from him in robot mode quite as much, but definitely a cool look on this lion mode here. It's got this little stumpy, questionable tail there. Got some wings, got some huge cannons up on top there. And I pushed his little mane in on accident. But very cool looking. I really like how this looks. You get a lot of that yellow and that black going. Then you get some of that red and the white on the top. These big, huge cannons. And his mouth does actually articulate. You can open the little mouth up, and he's got some little teeth and a tongue in there. Pretty cool looking. Got some nice blue eyes. Really cool looking. I actually like how this looks a lot. This is probably my favorite of the 2 alt modes for Victory Leo. He does have a jet mode as well that we can go ahead and take a look at right now. And here's Victory Leo in his very non-aerodynamic jet mode, which is, at first I thought was really goofy looking, but it's definitely grown on me. I actually really like how this looks. But you get the V-lock cannon up on top, kind of adds the whole like nose cone of the jet. but you still got the lion face sticking out the back. But he kind of has landing gear. His fists and these up here kind of are what he sits on. So I mean, it's definitely a brick, but I mean, in the cartoon it could fly, but this thing would not fly in real life at all. But still, very cool looking. Definitely like how this looks. But we can go ahead and set this aside for the moment. And we can take a look at Victory Saber's jet mode. Alright, and here is Star Saber. I think I said Victory Saber. This is Star Saber's jet mode here. So this is Saber and the V-Star jet combined together. The V-Star doesn't really have its own independent robot mode, but it does combine to Saber to form this jet. And I will just tell you straight up that I do not have this pegged in properly. Saber is not properly fastened to the rest of this, and that is because of that paint chipping issue on that gold on his chest. I'm like terrified to actually clip this into place again, because the one and only time I've done it fully clipped in, the paint chipped. So I'm just not going to mess with that. I'm just going to kind of hold it in there in place. It's kind of just held in by friction. It is supposed to click into place, but I just simply don't trust it anymore. But there is that. It's rather large. Definitely a big jet, but definitely very cool looking. But there is yet another alt mode that we can take a look at, where you combine, it's like Victory Saber's jet mode. So it's all three, Saber, the V-Star, and Victory Leo. So let's get that all put together and take a look at that. Alright, so here is Victory Saber's jet mode. So as you can see, we now have Victory Leo popped on the back here. And this jet is even bigger now. So you got Saber in the front, the V-Star in the middle, Victory Leo in the back. And this thing is just absolutely massive, very heavy. But like I was saying with the stand here, we can actually take the stand and we can slide this off and slide it onto this section. And then we have this piece, which can grab on right here. And it's somehow, the weight is distributed to where it will actually hold. It does kind of tab onto there. Let's actually get that spun around the other way. There we go. And there we go. You can kind of have him in a flight mode there. Super cool looking. Absolutely massive. Very, very cool looking jet here. Go ahead and pop that off. Get the stand out of here. And for a quick size comparison, let's just zoom out a tiny bit. Here is Victory Saber in jet mode. And let me grab it. Here is Jetfire in jet mode. And as you can see, actually, Jetfire is a little bit bigger. It's really hard to fit these both on camera. Here, let's get a width comparison there. Really hard to actually do this. And when you line them up like that, it's really hard to show, but they are actually about this one's actually a little bit bigger when they're all combined up like this, but definitely a large vehicle mode here. That was really hard to hold. These things are heavy, but definitely a cool, very cool jet mode that this guy's got. Or these guys, I guess, since there's like 3 of them put together here. But awesome, awesome, awesome figures. I love this set so far. I just don't like the QC problem with the gold with the gold paint shipping up here. But let's go ahead and get him transformed back into robot mode so we can finally finish this video up. Alright, so here we are with everything included here except for the box. This was definitely hard to get my hands on. This, I paid nearly double the original asking price for this, but it was worth it to celebrate 200 subscribers and our first patron. So I just want to thank all of you guys for subscribing, and I want to thank Mega Doomer in specific for subscribing on the Patreon. That's awesome. He has requested a video, which will be coming after the transformation guide on this, so stay tuned for that. But all this being said, about almost nearly 40 minutes later, I really hope you guys enjoyed that review. I hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if I forgot anything. And just stick around for more videos coming soon. Have a good night.